Hello everyone and welcome to She Rides, a podcast where women cycling takes the lead. I'm Saar.
And I'm Kristof, and today we're diving into the latest race results and hot topics in women's cycling.
And we have a guest joining us to share her story. Let's get started. Ready? Hi everyone and welcome to episode 59 of She Rides. This is actually the first part of our classics countdown because guess what? In less than a month, we're talking already about the Omloop Nieuwsblad. So what's better than to have some guests in the coming months who have at least something to do with the classics? And we're starting off strong, I would say. Hi Jolien.
Hello, both of you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're super happy to have you on today. Let's roll into the questions. First things first, can you just tell us who are you?
Well, I can tell a long story, but to tell it really short, I am Jolien. I'm 35 years old. I live in Belgium. I was a professional cyclist until 2021. Then I became a sports director. I started off with NextG, and then that team became AG Insurance Soudal, like it exists now. Also now I'm more in the role of a team manager, I would say, like team manager DS. So that's a really short story about my career. And then in my private life, I have a beautiful family. We have a beautiful daughter who is now 2 years old. Her name is Ona. So we're enjoying life off the bike right now. So everything is going well.
Well, that's super nice. I'm just gonna add something I didn't prepare, but when you listen to the English commentators sometimes during the women's races, I think the pronunciation of your last name sometimes is a bit off. So do you just want to repeat for everyone your full name?
Yeah, there are a lot of jokes actually going around, and most of the riders already know the joke. But my normal name is Jolien D'Hoore. Yeah, I didn't choose my name, but you can have different pronunciations in English. And the story is back in the days when I was riding a track World Cup in Melbourne, in Australia. The speaker was shouting my name when I was going in the attack. And he was literally saying in the mic, like, Jolien D'Hoore from Belgium. And then just commentating the whole race like this. And it was not nice. But since then, everybody knows the story and all the riders know it. But my actual name is Jolien D'Hoore.
Yeah, it's something I heard in the Tour Down Under commentary again now and then. So I thought, let's get it straight.
Yeah, it's always the Aussie commentators.
Well, yeah, now into the other questions that we've cleared it up. So cycling wasn't your first sport. You were in athletics first. Was there like a moment you were like, okay, cycling is my sport?
So I started running when I was 5 years old in a running club. So in the summer I did track and field, and then in the winter I did cross country running, and I enjoyed it. I run almost every day, so a lot of training already since I was a little kid. But then when I was 12 years old, also somebody from the running club, a boy, he said, and for a summer camp, I'm going to do a bike camp, and you need a race bike to do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to join. Why not? I have nothing else to do. I had to ask my parents to buy a race bike. So they bought like the cheapest one there was in the store. It barely had like 2 wheels and just a saddle and a handlebar and whatever. And then I could start also in the camp. And then at the end of that week, you actually received a license to race, which I didn't know. So then I went back home with my license and I asked, can I do a race now? I have it. And then the week after I did my first race and I crashed. My bike was broken. I was fine, but my bike was broken. And I said, I loved it. I want to do it again, but I need a new bike. And then, I never quit. This is how I started cycling. It's not in the best way, but I just loved it. Also, the social thing around it. And every week I saw my friends at the race. I just loved it. It was not that I was not winning a lot because I was so small. My handlebar was higher than my saddle. So I barely could see over my handlebar. I was really so small. And then I kept on racing. I just liked it. So, pretty simple, huh?
Nice story. Well, let's just skip a couple of years for this next question. What's the biggest difference between Jolien the rider and Jolien the sports director?
That's actually a really good question. I would say there's not a lot of difference. I am just Jolien, and I always try to have like a good team around me and a good atmosphere. And I know I always love to joke when I'm with the team. I was like that when I was a rider. I was a bit the clown in the team. I'm still a bit like that, but now I need to be more serious, of course, and I need to step more into a leadership role. So from time to time, I also need to be serious. But my riders know it when I say stuff to joke or to laugh, or when I say something serious, they just know it and they see it on my face, how I act. So it's nice not to be too bossy all the time, but just be Jolien, and they know when to be serious and when we can laugh. So, but I have to say we laugh a lot, so that's nice.
Yeah, the good team atmosphere is something that really goes through the screen, I would say.
Yeah, maybe also something to add when I'm still thinking about it is that as a rider, I was really like selfish. Well, you need to be selfish as a rider to get results, and really like driven and everything. But I was really focused on myself and not on my environment or not on my family, which was sometimes annoying for them. But I would say now that I'm not riding anymore and I have my own family, I changed totally. Like, I'm really the opposite now. I always put others first and I put myself in the last place. But that was not the case a few years ago when I was still a rider. And that's maybe the most remarkable thing for myself.
Becoming a mother helps.
Yeah, they say, and maybe that's the reason. I don't know. But I completely changed. Yeah, I have no more like specific goals anymore in sport. And it's more like I want the best for the people around me in the team, but also in my private life. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to, I think, one of the highlights of your career, 2016 Olympic Omnium. Can you just like take us like back to that day, that period? How were the Olympics, like the time going up to the race itself? Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, well, for myself, it was a long story because I prepared myself for 4 years going into the Rio Olympics in 16. And I was mainly focused on the track in that period. And I was in the World Cups, I was always having like a top 10, but never like a top result, never a podium, or not often, I would say. But I kept believing in myself and I thought, okay, the Omnium is 2 days. Back then it was 2 days. It was 6 events. And I said, okay, I have a few working points and I need to adjust my pursuit, my position in the pursuit, and I have to do this and this and this, and then I can be the top rider in the Omnium. And I figured it out for myself, and I knew my biggest gain would be, like I said, my aero position. So I just one day I just picked up the phone and I called 2 Canadians because I knew those were the best guys that day to get me in the best aero position. They were known for it. I know that they were working with other professional teams. So I just called them out of the blue, like, hey, I'm Jolien D'Hoore from Belgium. I'm doing the track. Can you help me? My goal is the Olympics. And they said like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. You just need to pay our flight tickets. We come over to Belgium and we spend a few days together with you. So then I went back to the federation and I said, look, these guys want to help me. Please, can you pay them? This is the only thing I'm asking. And they did it. So the guys flew over. We had a lot of like tests been going on and stuff. And then in the individual pursuit at the Olympics, I improved my time with 7 seconds, which in 3 kilometers is a lot. And just to mention, that is one story of that whole period, I would say. So yeah, I did a lot for myself, but also thanks to the federation because they funded it. But I just kept believing in myself, and I knew not a lot of people were expecting a big result from me. Also not the media, because the first day at the Olympics, there was no one of Belgian media. So after every event, you had to come off the track and then you had to do interviews. But the first day I had no interviews, so that was easy for me. I didn't mind. But then the second day in the morning, so I was then standing, I think, second overall in the morning, and it was full. Like the whole Belgian media was there. I was like, what is going on? What is this? So that was really like mind blowing. Then like, okay, now they're interested. But yeah, it was really the perfect 2 days for me. I prepare myself, yeah, 200% for it. I did everything what I needed to do. Yeah, back in the days, like I looked at my nutrition and everything they do now, I also did then. But back then, 10 years ago, not everybody was doing it. And also, I was so focused. I was so in the zone. Like, for example, I don't know where the cameras were standing. I didn't know who was standing in the seats. Like, I didn't know how the seats were looking like, I was also not aware of who is sitting in the box next to us. So I didn't know anything. And that was all like after the race. They asked me questions and I was like, literally, I don't know anything. Like, I was just focused on me and my race, and I didn't know nothing from the track or like the surroundings. And it's really scary in a way as well, because you don't realize it at the moment. But then after the competition, I was like, okay, that means like being in the zone, like being that focused in a race. So yeah.
Well, nice.
I can talk for hours about it, but don't want to bore you as well.
It's not boring. Well, if we look a bit broader on your career, like what performances are you most proud of? You can pick one or multiple.
Oh, that's really difficult. But one of the results
are really the most difficult questions here.
Yeah, it is. But a moment I really enjoyed was getting the world champion title in the medicine with Lotte in Hong Kong. That was really so nice. Because it was the first world championships for the medicine for the women. Me and Lotte were the top favorites, and also we did a perfect race. And I mean, if you can share like a world champion title or share a victory, that's always nicer than winning it for yourself. So that was a really good moment. I have a few more. Also my victory in the Gent-Wevelgem. And also I did it alone there, but but that was more.
Quite a few to pick from when you go through the list, I think.
Yeah, I think it's not too bad, but I just enjoyed. I just enjoyed my whole career in general. Like, not only the results, but also like the whole adventure, because you meet a lot of people along the way. You're in a lot of teams, and every team has its own culture. Yeah, the whole process was just nice.
Well, I'm afraid I'm gonna ask another difficult one. If you could relive one cycling-related day, which one would it be?
A cycling-related day. That's really a good question again. Maybe, I would say again the Olympics in Rio, because they were just really special for me. And maybe if I would relive it again, I would maybe enjoy it a bit more. Because like I said, I really did enjoy the process. I was just really focused on myself and my results, which I need to be. But the whole experience maybe in Rio at the Olympics.
And then, like, I would say next to the highlights, there were some things like you missed out on. Is there like one finale, if you could redo it, which one would it be? Like, just erase the mistakes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a sad story, but my very last race was Paris-Roubaix. I was really focused for it. I did so many recons. I tested all the equipment and I was really ready for it. But then, it was that rainy edition, the first edition, which was horrible. And I was in 4 crashes and I broke 3 pair of shoes. And I really wanted to finish. So I finished, but I was out of time limits. I also injured my knee. So after the race, like most of the riders were already at the bus. So I also rode with my bike to the bus, took a shower. And then I said, okay, this is it. I go home. Like, thank you, everybody. So that was my last race. And then actually I had to go to hospital that evening to have a checkup on my knee, because I had a crack in my knee as well. And I said, like, okay, it is what it is. I'm going to leave it now. I'm not going to go in a rehab now. So this is it. So I could not walk for a few weeks. So a really bad day to have a last race like in Paris-Roubaix. But it is what it is. And it's not always joy in cycling. You also have a lot of bad moments. And that's how I finished my career. So maybe if I could redo one more race, it would be that one.
The signs were pretty clear. Hang up your bike now. The signs were there.
The signs were there, but it was really horrible. Like, I could not enjoy it at all.
Yeah. And especially, you're an icon in Belgian cycling and Belgian women's cycling. So just to go out like that is like, that's sad. Yeah,
but I really wanted to finish because it was my last race. But also the biggest reason was to finish was like, okay, I have to experience this race, how the cobbles feel and everything, because I had in my mind to become a DS. And I said, okay, then I know how it feels to ride the cobbles at Roubaix, because otherwise, if I'm doing Roubaix as a DS, and I have to tell the girls, yeah, do this and this. It makes more sense if I did it myself as well. And I said, okay, I have to do it. I have to suffer now. I have to go all in on every cobble section just to get the right feeling. So yeah, I did it.
Sad story.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, something else. Is there a win you expected the least? Like that came sort of out of the blue for you?
The win that I expect the least, maybe a few. I can't think of one right now because I was really, as a rider, I always wanted to win. Like I went to a race and I said, okay, I'm going to win it. I have to win it. I was really driven always, maybe a bit too much. So when I won a race, it was always like, okay, check, now go to the next one. And it was not like, oh yes, I did it. I can enjoy it now. I was really like, okay, I did it. Now tick off and then go to the next race. So it was never really unexpected. Maybe that's a bit stupid to say or arrogant. I don't know.
I expected every time to win. That's
Yeah, no, but I mean, you have to have that mindset if you want to win races.
Yeah.
Maybe the first victory ever can be unexpected. That's maybe the case, yeah. And also maybe when I think of it now, I did the Giro, I think in 2018 with Mitchelton. And I think I had 3 stages that year. I won 3 stages or 2. Oh no, only 2.
Third and the fourth.
In my mind, it was 3 stages. Okay. So, but then, so you win one stage. Yeah. So you win one stage and then the second one is maybe then a bit more unexpected. Like, yeah.
Yeah, the follow-up.
Exactly.
Right. So you just said like sharing a win is nicer than winning on your own. So do you have a favorite team performance? Maybe first as a rider and then later on as a DS? Favorite team performance, yeah. Can be a victory of just a nice result. Doesn't matter.
Favorite team performance. What I really liked as a rider, and it's really sad that it's not going on anymore, is the team time trials. I did a few with Bulls Dolmans. We also won some. It was really the most horrible thing for me because I was always like the 4th rider. I had to always hang on for dear life to finish. But after the race, it was really nice because you did a team effort, and then if you can win it as a team, yeah, that's really nice. And also, I think we did a team time trial with Mitchelton in Innsbruck at the World Championships. We got 4th. We just missed out on the medal. But I mean, also the whole process and the training together and going to the race and doing the warming up together and suffering all together, that has something nice, and I really liked it. And now I would say off the bike, more as a DS. I even like it more now. Sitting in the car, I can enjoy really literally every race. Sitting in the car, shouting to the girls, and even if we don't win, if it was like a good team performance, then I can really enjoy it. And I would say I enjoy it more now in the car than I was being on the bike.
In hindsight, Jolien, do you regret that you didn't enjoy it more during your career, like the winning and the good performances?
I don't know. I don't feel that I missed something. Like I had that mindset back then, and I think you need it. Yeah, I think if you would enjoy it more, then you're not that focused anymore, and you're missing out on things. And I was always busy getting the marginal gains and to improve myself, and otherwise you get maybe a bit more relaxed and say like, okay, this is it. So in a way, I think you need to be like this.
Nice. So you talked about it. So you were like part of the Bulls now as he works like team for several years. So yeah, how was it being a part like of such a stacked team, apart from the hanging on for dear life in the team time trials?
Yeah, it was really nice, I have to say. Like the team atmosphere was also really good. We had a good connection between all the girls. We had more or less all the same age as well. We came along well. We had the same mindset, and also going to the races, you were like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this together. And for myself, yeah, it was pretty easy. I was a sprinter, so my job was just to wait. And if I was there and I could still sprint, then I had a chance. And otherwise, it was up to my teammates, my strong teammates back then, like Chantal Blaak and Anna van der Breggen and all the others, to make the race hard. But then, yeah, I can still remember. So Bulls Dolmans, we mostly made the races hard back then. So I always knew where it was going to happen, where the echelon was going to be made or where they were going to attack. So in a way, I also knew like, okay, I'm going to suffer so hard at that time, at that kilometer. like, why? So I was counting down the kilometers until we came to that point, and then it was just like carnage, was just war. And then I had to survive, and it was basically like the story of my whole career. Like, yeah, try to survive the war, and then if I get to the final and if I get to the sprint, yeah, I had a good chance.
That's nice. How did you deal with the pressure, of course? So after you survived all of that, did you struggle with the pressure just before the sprint when you knew you were let's say the final chance for your team at that point?
No, I would even say that I needed the pressure to perform. Pressure means that the team or everybody else believes in you. So pressure is also good in a way. And I really needed it. And it went that far because in the radio, in the final, I said out loud, like, okay, bring me to the sprint, do a lead out because I'm going to win the race. And I had to say it out loud in the radio, for myself as a kind of a pep talk to motivate me as well. And I said it every time in the radio. And at the first time, my teammates were always like, oh, "What is she saying?" But it was more like, okay, more like a pep talk, like really to push myself even. And if you say it out loud, it's likely going to happen. So that's why I did it. So every time we went to a sprint, I said, okay, pull now for me, do a lead out because I'm going to win. And that's also what I'm saying to my riders. Like, okay, if you go to a sprint and even if Lorena is there and Charlotte Kohl and all the good sprinters and the team is working for you to do a lead out, say in the radio, like, okay, bring me to there. I'm going to sprint and I'll try to finish it off for you. Or like, try to say it out loud. It's all in the head. And a lot of it is a mental game, especially with the sprinters. So it really helps.
Nice.
So let's go a little bit further into the career, Jolien. Like we already mentioned in Hong Kong, you became together with Lotte Kopecky, the world champions in the medicine. For you, what does it take to be a great partner in that discipline? Because you rely on each other.
You need to have a good combination of having the speed, but also having the endurance. In the beginning, back in the days, like 10 years ago, it was enough if you had one rider who was fast and one rider who's better at endurance. So I was the faster rider and Lotte was really the strong rider who kept on going, who kept on attacking. And then it was fine. But these days you need actually two good riders at a good level, like both of them. They both need to be fast. They both need to have the endurance. So that has changed a little bit. But yeah, you need to have trust in each other. And that's the main thing. You need to count on each other. Also, if you're suffering, you have to tell it to your partner that you can back up each other a little bit in the race. So communication and trust is really helpful. So yeah, that's what you need. But medicine is really hard discipline, but it's really one of the nicest disciplines on the track.
Yeah, totally agree. And then just after winning so much together as your medicine teammate and as your teammates with the SD Works/Bulls, how strange is it for you now to be on the other side trying to beat Lotte in every race?
Yeah. Well, I have it with not only with Lotte, but with other riders as well. And especially in the beginning, it was a bit hard for me because you still think you're a rider and in your head you are still a rider, but then you're driving a car and like, sometimes it was really frustrating because I knew what was going to happen and I said it also in the radio, but then, it didn't go like you wanted and you're in the car and you can't do anything. Like, yeah, it's up to the riders and you're just there behind the steering wheel. So in the beginning, I was struggling with it. I really was still thinking as a rider, but that has shifted a little bit. Now I'm thinking as a DS. And the good thing is I know what they feel as well. And I also know what the rider is thinking. So that helps. But you have to realize, you're in the car and in the end, it's up to them and it's up to their legs to do the talking. And yeah, you are a good backup and I am there always with a tactical plan. But in the end, it's up to them. And sometimes they have to ride on instinct. And that's something I can't say or can't teach them. So yeah, it has pros and cons.
Yeah, and then you put yourself on mute when you're screaming out loud, "No, I told you this was going to happen."
Oh no, I never put myself on mute when I'm shouting. They also hear it and they like it. So also my race is also building up. In the beginning, the first hour in the race, I'm really quiet. I'm still joking. But then towards the final, my voice is getting louder and louder.
It's like, who's the guy, the Italian guy? Is it Bramati in the car?
Yeah, Bramo.
completely. You know when the finale is up by his volume, I think.
Some riders like it, like Parapente, he really likes it. And that's why they also decided in the Tour, in the Move On 2 stage, to put Brahma in the car, because they had a plan with Valentin. And it's also like part of the tactical plan.
Yeah, whatever keeps you motivated.
Exactly.
Oh. You raced back in the day the Tour of Flanders shortly after you had a big crash in Drenthe. What rider make you start a race like Flanders when you're clearly not 100%?
Yeah, well, Flanders is Flanders, and as a Belgian rider, it means everything. And yeah, it's pretty simple, and it's hard to explain, like foreign riders, for Italian riders, what it actually means to us. But yeah, I was always riding on my training roads, and I was passing my house, and it means something. It's a home race. And then I had a crash in Drenthe, and I broke my ribs. I also broke a collarbone. Oh yeah, I had a surgery on my collarbone. They fixed it. And that's why they said, okay, actually, yeah, you can ride your bike now. It's fine. It's fixed. So yeah, if I can ride my bike, I can also do a race. So why not? So the week after, or 2 weeks after, I think 2 weeks after, it was Tour of Flanders, and I could still feel it a bit, but there was a plate in it. So even if I crashed, it was safe. So then that was the main reason to start. It was not ideal, of course. It was not the best preparation, but I wanted to race. I wanted to start.
Oh, can't skip Flanders.
It means that much.
And then you've raced a lot, both. You raced and won a lot, both on track and on the road, Jolien. Which one gave you the most joy, and then which one caused you the most stress?
If you mean between track and road, it's difficult to say, because that was a question I always got during my career. Like, what do you like the most, track or road? And I said, just a combination, because at the end of the road season, I was sick of riding on the road. And I was really happy to go back on the track between the sprinters. But then after a few months, I was like, or they're too fast, or, they're too sketchy on the track. I want to go back on the road. So it was always like a bit of a struggle in my head. And I like both disciplines. Yeah, I enjoyed really the track. It was on the track, I learned actually everything, like racing, like tactics, like positioning in the bunch. When I was still 12, 13 years old, I was riding on the track. So that's where I learned a lot. And my first love, I would say, I didn't want to leave my first love, so I always wanted to combine both.
You turned pro back in the days in 2009, Jolien. A lot happened in women's cycling over that short span of time. So what's for you the biggest change you've seen in the peloton since you became a pro?
Yeah, well, it's like a different sport. I think my generation has experienced like the experience before us, which was even worse. And also we also experienced the riders who are still racing now. So we saw like both sides. But yeah, becoming professional when I was 19 years old, that's maybe like a big word, because when I was 19, I went to university in Ghent. And I was a full-time student. And I mean, by saying full-time student, I mean also like the parties and everything. I did the whole thing. I never skipped something. And then also in the weekends, I had a race, and I had to race with the pros. And I was just, a student at university, and I could finish my races. I was in the bunch, and I did Tour of Flanders, and I did all those races. And then on Monday, I was back in school. I had to study. And then on Thursday, I went, partying in Ghent. And it was just a different world. And it's something you can't explain right now to the girls. Like, yeah, it was professional then, but not that professional, to call it a professional sport. So it was really so different. And luckily, everything changed in the good way. And especially since I retired in 21, I think, women's cycling took huge steps in 22 and 23. And especially the last few years, it was really huge. And not only the level in the peloton with the riders, but also the professionalism of all the teams. Everything got bigger and bigger and more professional, and there's more money involved, more media coverage, which is also really good. So it's the whole picture, and I'm happy. I enjoyed a bit like both, because when I was still racing, we had a lot of good times. We really had fun also off the bike. And I think that's really different now. It's more like a job and they're more strict, but then it was more for an adventure for us. It felt more like a hobby and we had just such a good time and racing was just really fun.
Yeah, great.
Well, maybe now over to after racing and like becoming a DS. How did it happen, becoming a DS? Was it a clear idea you had in mind in the last months of your career, or?
No, not at all. Not at all. So actually at the Olympics in Tokyo, in the Madison, we had a lot of crashes, me and Lotte. So it was really not a good race. So then I was really like disappointed and I was like, okay, I know I'm going to retire. And actually I didn't know what to do back then at the Olympics in Tokyo. And that was in August. And I was really like, okay, what should I do? I have my degree in physiotherapy, but I don't want to become a physio. And I really literally had no idea. So that was also really a sad moment. And then I was sitting together with somebody who was there at the Olympics from the federation. And he said, like, look, you can start working at the federation, see how that goes, like from 9 to 5, behind the desk. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's start doing that. I don't know what it is. I've never worked in my life. Let's see how it goes. But then also at that same time, Natasha Knaven came to me and she said, okay, we want you to become a DS in our club team. And I was like, why? Like, why me? Like, I never thought of it. Like, really, I was like, how should I do this? Like, I don't know what to do. But then I don't know why I said yes, but I said yes, like, okay, let's go for it. Let's have 2 jobs to try it out. And then the first few months, so I retired, after the race in Roubaix. The week after, I could barely walk to my work, with my knee. And then I started working in the Cycling Vlaanderen at the federation. And I was like, what am I doing here? Like behind a laptop. And it was 5 o'clock in the evening and I was not ready with my work. And people were like to me, Jolien, you have to leave. It's 5 o'clock. You're finished. I'm like, no, my work is not finished. I have to stay. I'll come back tomorrow. So you're first going to finish this off. It was always like a struggle. I was so not used to it and it was really nothing for me. And then in the weekends, I was a DS for next G and I just loved it. In the beginning, it was also a bit of a struggle, but I just loved being with the riders and passing all my experience and the stories that I had to tell, and I just loved it. And then after a few months, I said, okay, I'm going to stop with the federation. Like, this is nothing for me. Like, I can't do anything. And then I'm gonna go full in for being a DS. It was a bit like a risk, I would say. It's always insecure having a full-time job in cycling. But I said, yeah, I'm just gonna follow my heart. Life is too short to regret things. So just become a DS and see how it goes. And then, yeah, I kept on doing it and I just love it. Yeah, the team changed a bit. So we stepped up also to being a Conti team and then also World Tour team. And also I grew a bit in my role. And yeah, it was really nice having that experience. So yeah, I'm also really grateful for Natasha to give me that chance and to experience it. And yeah, I really love it. And I can't think of any other job to do because yeah, this is the only thing I can't.
So yeah, can you like tell us a bit about like the first year as a sports director? What surprised you most?
Yeah, how much work there is behind the scenes. As a rider, you literally don't know anything. What is going on before the race? Also, the day before with the inscriptions. Like, I really, the first race, I didn't know how to do the inscriptions. Like, okay, what do I need? Do I need to bring something? I didn't know anything. And then also in the race, like, okay, the first few races, it's a bit, yeah, getting used to riding with the car, but actually it's a bit the same as being on the bike. You have to think as a rider, also being in the car. You have to look more in the back mirror than looking in front of you. Yeah, and it was a bit searching my way in the beginning, but really fast after a few weeks, after a few races, I got the hang of it and I enjoyed it. And yeah, after a while, of course, every race is the same. You go to the inscriptions and have a tactical plan, do a race meeting, have a debrief. And yeah, so when you know how it works, it is pretty simple, but the most challenging thing for me or for being a DS is always bringing a good tactical plan, having a good plan with the whole team. And if they then can finish it off, it's so satisfying and it's the best feeling there is. If you can have like a small piece in that puzzle, that's really nice.
Nice. And then what's harder, staying calm in the car or staying calm if you are a rider in the peloton?
For sure, staying calm in the car. On the bike, I was really, like I said, focused and composed, and I knew what I was doing, and I had, own control on the bike. I knew, I could decide everything for myself. But in the car, you're depending on so many factors. Yeah, it's really like mind blowing sometimes what is going on in the car, and sometimes they have to put a camera in the car to see what we're saying and what we're doing, because we can tell a whole story what's going on during a race. And yeah, for me, definitely the hardest thing is to stay calm in the car, especially both ways. When it's going really well, we can be really like over the moon and shouting in the car. But also when there are crashes going on, or when it's not going our way, then I can also shout, but not in a good way. So yeah, a lot of emotions going on in the car.
And then can you tell us a bit next to the DS part, like you said, like you're more evolving into manager as well. How does that work? Like, what's that part of your job then?
I would say, to put a number on it, I'm like a 70% manager and a 30% DS. So my work is a lot like on the laptop, preparing things, like doing orders, having an overview on basically the whole team, riders and staff, but also an overview on the equipment and everything what is going on, which is really nice. And every day is also different. Sometimes I'm having talks with the agents and managers. Other talks I'm doing and ordering, for the clothing. Another day I'm talking with the riders or with my colleague DSs. So, every day is different, and that's really nice, having that variation in the job. But also being more of a manager now, I'm also in the board. So every month there's a board with stakeholders. So I'm also seeing that part. And now I'm also aware of that there's more involved in making a decision than only like the sportive decision. There's also like a whole budget behind it, and the sponsors are having a say. And, it's really like the whole picture, which is not always easy to have or to find a balance, because you always want the best for the riders. But yeah, they're pulling on different sides, I would say, and it's having that right balance, which I need to find. That's actually the main job I have. So yeah, and actually being a DS, being in the race in the car is actually the most relaxing moments of my job. When I shut the door, it's like, okay, this is it. Focus on the race. And that's the only thing I have to do. And that's really enjoyable. And it gives me energy going to the races. So, and that's what I like the most.
Nice. So I think we can say like last year you were more in an underdog-like position. How do you like that?
Yeah, I always like being the underdog. It puts you in a good position to win races, and we could sometimes use other teams a bit more, and say like, okay, look, it's not up to us to ride, or it's not up to us, to pull. You have the leader, you have the best sprinter, and it's always something we could rely on. But I think this season it's maybe a bit different. I mean, if you have Kim there in the final, we can't say it's not up to us. She showed it more than once that she can win a race, and I also already told the girls we have to take more responsibility, and if we need to pull, we have to pull. It's as simple as that. And the team is again stronger, and I'm really 100% convinced that we can do a good team performance and be more prominent in the race, and, show ourselves even more than last year. So I have full confidence in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you guys got a little bit too strong for the underdog role.
Yeah, how are you gonna step up and embrace the new, because you were the hunter, now you become the hunted in certain races. Yeah, I'm curious to see the transformation in the roles.
Yeah, well, we have to wait and see how it goes in the first races, but yeah, I just want to show it in the race and show it with the legs. And you can talk so much about it and saying like, okay, right now we're the top 5 team, or we're in the top 10. Actually, in the end, it doesn't matter. If you show up at the race and if you have a good team, it's up to the form or the shape of the day of the riders, but also up to your tactical plan. And if they can execute it in the right way, I mean, you can win races, and then it doesn't matter if you're underdog or if you're like, favorite or whatever. So we just have to show it.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting 2026. I told it in one of our podcasts already. I'm really looking forward to this kind of new role of AG Insurance a bit in the peloton in certain races.
I'm also looking forward to it, and I think also for the classics we have now a stronger team than before, also with Letizia Borghesi. So I'm also really looking forward now to the cobbled classics, especially also like Flanders and Roubaix. So yeah, I would say bring it on.
Yeah, bring it on. Really, that's good. That's well said, Jolien. Let's bring on a little bit more general about the state of women's cycling then, Jolien. So now that we have the Tour de France Femmes as a really established race on the calendar for the Women's World Tour, for you, what do you think is the next big step that women's cycling really needs now?
Well, we took a lot of big steps, and I think, yeah, we already ran before we could walk. So maybe like the level in women's cycling is really good, especially with the top riders, with that top 15, top 20, that's really good. But the level of the riders just below, that needs to improve still a little bit, because now there's still a big gap in the peloton between the top riders and just the level below. And it is improving, but it's going slower, than that top level. But once we are there, or once we have like a more general good level in the peloton, then I think we can handle more races, and we can handle, harder and bigger races. But we're not there yet. And I think the races we have now in the calendar is good as it is now. They don't have to add any more, or, make it a 200K for now, but that's something for the future. So I think we should do it step by step, keep improving. But yeah, everybody's doing a really good job. Also, the teams are stepping up. When I look to our own team, every year there are more staff coming in. It's getting more professional. So yeah, we're lucky to have good sponsors.
Yeah, looks like a good partnership with AG Insurance. See everything happening with Soudal too, of course.
Yeah, with all our sponsors.
You worked as well with the Next Sheet team of Natasha Knaven. You have your own U23 team with AG Insurance. Why is it so important as a team to have such a development structure? Because you don't see it broadly in peloton, but I think it's needed. A U23.
It's super important. I mean, there are not a lot of riders coming out of the junior ranks and having good results immediately in the first or the second year. There are a few, like if you think of Kat Ferguson, also riders like Imogen Wolf, they're doing really well, but not a lot of them. And the majority needs like those extra years to improve and, to have that learning curve still. And I think that's why you need a Devo team, because then you can still do the races on a lower level, like the 1.1 races, 1.2 races in Belgium. And that's where that's where you learn to race. That's where you learn how to ride a final, and how you ride in echelons, and that's where I learned how to race. And that's where every rider should go to those smaller races in Belgium, in the Netherlands, and then start on a low level, and then actually learn and think for yourself in a race. Like, okay, what should I do to win this race? Okay, where is the wind coming from? And sometimes a lot of riders skipping those steps, maybe also the good riders, because they don't need it. And then they go to the elite ranks. They have the numbers, like the power numbers. Everything is based now on the power numbers. But then when they come in the situation to win the race, they can't think for themselves. It's like they're depending on the radio and their DS in the car. And that's what I'm seeing a lot lately. They can't race without radios anymore. And that's something you learn in those races. And that's why I really promote like having a debut team, going to those smaller races, because that's what you need. You need it for the riders. Yeah, even the riders with a lot of talent, they should do it. It's not always the nicest thing to do maybe for them, because they ride against club teams and it's dangerous, and riding a big World Tour race, it's always nice against the big teams, against the big guns, but sometimes you have to risk it a bit, and yeah, that's what you need to do. But that's my opinion, of course.
Yeah, I think step by step, because the gap from U19 to elite, like you said, you have Kat Ferguson and Imogen Wolf and some lone wolves in the peloton, but most of them are not mature yet at 19 to make that big step. So it's good. Don't skip a step. It will be beneficial in the long run for most of the girls, I think.
Yeah, but it's also not always easy, because if you're good and you can go to a World Tour team and you're 19, it's tempting, because you get a salary and everything. So there's also the money involved. So that's also one thing. But yeah, having or getting that chance to have like a learning period over a few years, that it's so useful. So useful. When I look to myself, I was a world champion when I was a junior, but in the elites, I could not win any races, I think for 5 years or something. It took me really a long time to ride a final and to win a race. And I think I won my first race when I was 24 or 25.
It took your U23 years to become an elite rider, actually.
It's just an example. Maybe if I would have been a rider these days, I would have give up. Like, say, like, why am I training? Like, I can't ride finals, I can't win races. So that's why it's so useful to have Devo teams.
Yeah. And then the sprints are getting faster every year. Some race finishes need to change to stay completely safe, or do you say like, nah, it's still okay?
Of course, they don't have to have a sprint finish like in a descent or something. I think that's pretty obvious. But to be honest, it's always going to be like risky. Having a sprint, having that high speed in a sprint is always going to be with risks. It's something, unfortunately, you can't avoid. It's, part of the job, but they can do a lot of things to minimize the risk from the organization, like with the banners and also looking at the course, like don't put a corner with 200 meters to go or something. Just make it safe. But also sometimes it's even more dangerous to have like a long straight white road for 10Ks going to the finish, and because they touch wheels then, or that's even more dangerous. So it's hard to tell what they exactly have to do, but if they can minimize the top speed by not having a sprint finish in a descent, stuff like that, that's obvious. But otherwise, it's always going to be part of cycling.
And then about the TV coverage, do you still more TV coverage is still the key, still the way to go for women's cycling, or do we mainly need just better storytelling around the riders and around the races?
Yeah, that's for sure. That's one thing. Like having good commentators, I think that's really something we can start with. But also, of course, having more media coverage, that also helps. I think from the start in women's cycling, there's already so much going on. So you can easily cover a whole race without being boring. Maybe I'm a bit biased, but that's sometimes how it goes. Like from the start, there are breakaways, there are echelons, there's so much going on. But I have to say it's already a good thing that like in Flanders Classics that they show the finals after the men. That's really good for the media and also for the riders, because a lot of spectators still, on the side of the course. So that's really good. But we can still do a lot of things to improve. For example, in the Ardennes, in Flèche, in Liège, there's almost no coverage. So Italian races,
They just fill the obligatory 1 hour, and the first half an hour is like just recap from the first 100 kilometers. Such a classic on for the Italian races.
Or it takes you already half an hour to find like a live stream or to find a link to somewhere, or if they can make it more transparent and more easy, to follow it, that would also help, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And which classic still needs a women's race to complete the calendar? For me, it's obvious. What do you think, Jolien?
Damn, I was not prepared for this question. But like, in Italy, they have still a few classics which don't have a women's version.
Party for the women should be great.
Exactly. I share your thought. But it's true,
And then how important is it for retired riders to stay visible in cycling? And then how important is it actually to have even more women in staff roles like you do, not just on the bikes, but also off the bikes?
It's something I think you can't push, because sometimes riders retire because they're really sick of cycling. They have had enough of it and then they want to do something totally opposite. But I retired because my reason was like, I checked all my goals. Like there's no more race I still want to win. Like this is it. I achieved everything that I wanted to achieve, but I was not sick of cycling. I still loved riding my bike. I still love being with the riders and everything and the whole community. So that was my main decision. Like, okay, I want to stay in cycling and I want to do something with the experience I built throughout the years, and I want to, pass it on the next generation. And that was my main reason and my goal to continue or to pursue my cycling dream still. But that's different for everybody. And everybody needs to decide for her own what the best decision is. And yeah, I can understand both ways, to be honest. So yeah.
Saar, kick up.
Just before I start, we had such cool weeks, like watching cycling as a She Rides host. You will get to know more of that. Of course, we had Tour Down Under. Maybe, Kristof, you weren't here last episodes. Do you want to say something more about the Australian races we had?
Hot to say the least. Apparently, no kangaroos in the women's peloton, fortunately. That's already a win. But then on day one, we had a very
I
nice
recapped it already.
from.
So.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But you wanted to say that you liked it. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Love to see you, with Julia, like in the breakaway. Let's put it that way. And Ali finished it off. Then super strong. Second stage was a little bit more predictable, I think.
But you already missed one of the cool things as well. We had Paula, of course, who wanted to make it a fun race.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, Paula was on form. That's for sure. She was in her garden the whole 3 days. I
was like, whoa. So cool, you're going for the QM. And she was like, yeah, it was a bit boring. I wanted to make it a fun race.
Yeah. And then second stage was maybe a little bit more predictable. We had a breakaway, but you could see it coming that it wouldn't last. But Wollaston wins again. Nice, 2 out of 2. So great win. And the third stage, that was like Queen stage, so to call. We had it near.
But the second stage, you missed something. You always need to put the spotlight on the glass. That's obligated. So we had was it like the last time at the finish? There was a QM sprint, so Paula got that one. And then we had Valieras pulling, Paula followed that move. And then we had Julie van der Velde actually bridging very smoothly to it, which I was excited. But of course, it wasn't meant to be to get to the finish. But always mention guests, but go on.
Okay, well, we'll just complete my short race recap for sure. And then the third stage was the most interesting one. I think the Queen stage, the hardest one. We went into the final case with a threesome of UAE riders with Paula, our guest, didn't forget her, in there with Noemi Ruik, Mavi Garcia, and Vlodarczyk. So you would think the UAEs would attack each other, like one after another attack and just tire Noemi Ruik. Yeah. That sounded like the obvious tactical choice to do. But then they tried to attack, but it looked like it was not 100%, it appeared to me. And then it went out to the sprint. So I was like, okay, now you finish it because it's 3 against 1. And then Paula Blasi tried to start the sprint, but then they started discussing with Mavigas who's going to sprint or whatever they were discussing. But that's too little too late. And yeah, well, Noemi Ruik, of course, took very much advantage of that opportunity, and she won the race and GC. Strange situation with the 3.
The first thing they did was obvious, but was good. So Vlodarczyk was away, and then Van Damme had to chase. But why are the UAE riders closing the final gap on Vlodarczyk to start with, and not letting Ruik do it? And then when Blasi attacks in the last couple of meters of the climb, Mavi closes it again.
But I don't understand if UAE has such strong climbers, why they're not doing something on corkscrew. They do it 2 times, and they should have done it the first time straight away, make it hard on the climb and attack. And then because Noemi Ruik was not there the first time, it was Van Damme.
Yeah.
And then even then, they didn't want to ride with Van Damme, but then doesn't matter. Take her with the 3 UAE riders and just keep going. There's a front group, and then make it hard again on the second time corkscrew, and then Van Damme will crack in the end. But then, just gambling after the first time corkscrew and then bringing the first group back, it was just a big risk and a big gamble. And if you have such good climbers, you can never do that. Really play it out on the climbs, make it hard, and always ride, even though they don't want to, take over. It's a fair ride. I also would do it, but let them hang on and then make it hard again on the climb, because they're so much stronger on the climb than Van Damme or Ruik or anybody else. But that's, So I didn't get it. It was already too late when they were on top with Ruik, because, if they then start attacking in the descent, they can never drop Ruik. So then it was already too late.
Yeah, they tried it, but it was half-heartedly. I think they knew what they had to do, but it was like, I do it because I have to do it. It was like never you thought like, ooh, this is it. This is the winning move. They were all like, yeah, well, you see, I did it. Now I'm gonna count on my sprint. And then the discussion in the final 300 meters. I mean, I was like, girls, come on. I mean, you should have decided already who's going to sprint and who's going to do the lead out. I mean, come on. That's too late.
It's maybe good that it happened now in the first races for them and that they learned something from it. I hope so for them.
Interesting racing, but well-deserved win for Nürburgring, as well as the third stage as the GC. Can't complain there.
You want to say something about... you didn't watch that one, I think, the Tour Down Under one-day classic. That was a very nice win of Maggie Koolslister.
That's for sure.
Lots of crashes, though, in like the final. Wasn't super nice.
Yeah, it was really sketchy in the last 10 kilometers. A lot of crashes, also with Chloe Daiger having a big hit again on her left leg. So really scary to see. And in the end, it was a sprint, but it was really a hard sprint. So yeah, the riders didn't really have the top speed. They were really suffering and dying until the line. But a really strong effort from Koolslister.
Yeah, happy to see after all she went through. It's good to see her back on that level and taking a win. That's nice. And Surf Coast Classic is postponed or cancelled. I'm not sure yet what's the latest news. Is it already cancelled? Okay.
It's cancelled. The whole course is flooded, so they can't race. But they organize a crit race on Thursday instead of that one-day race.
That's something. Well, we can go over to road cycling. We can continue with road cycling. So the Challenge Mallorca, it's like these 3 one-day races that follow each other up, but still count as one-day races. The first one was a mountaintop finish. Yeah, so it was at the mountain to finish. And well, yeah, it was... I've watched this, so I should know what happened. But there was a nice finale, and we had Skiban taking the win there. We all know her, of course, after last year's Tour de France. Before Reusser, Persico, and Sigrid Haugset. I was so cool. I was so happy for her. But it was like, so in the final, of course, it was going uphill. Makes sense. So you saw like Autostad dropping. I was like, oh, wait. Is that UNX rider Haugset? But like the commentary wasn't like catching up yet with who it was, and I was like, oh wait, and it was like going, oh, but this could really be Sigrid, and it just crazy performance, like so impressed, so well done. We of course we knew she was doing quite well, like at the Euros and stuff like that as well at the end of the year, but this is yeah. Bias, I know, but very, very cool. And then just like basically the UAE supremacy is also continuing here. So we had Swinkles on 5, and then also for Clara Ammon's super nice performance. She didn't have her best year as well last year. Talita de Jong also in the top 10, and then Autostad, Silvestri, Marcus, and the next one, as I said, cool races to watch as a She Rides host, because who took the win? Kat Ferguson. So it was like like echelons, and we had like 2 big teams there with Movistar and UE. So UE was of course working for Sophie van Rooyen, and Movistar for Kat Ferguson. We also had the duo Henderson and Kopecky. So they basically worked very well together. And then they ended up in the sprint, and Ferguson finished it off with, it looked easy. It wasn't, but it looked quite easy before Kopecky and Van Rooyen and Susanne Andersen, who was the only one from her team, then ended up in 4th position. And then we have one more there. The last one, you could say the heaviest of them all. So we had a break going off and in there were like the likes of Swinkels, Lippert, Autostad, De Jong, Silvestri, Gasparini, Henderson. Skiban had missed it, and Reusser didn't start. So that was a bit tricky because I'm like part of a fantasy game thing. And Reusser was like just right before the start. It was like, yeah, she didn't start. So that did change the race quite a bit, but UAE was confident in Swinkels and Movistar and Lippert, which makes sense, I would say. And so then Swinkels, Lippert and Ottestad were the last 3 standing of that break. And then Swinkels finished it off very impressively. And then we had from the back coming Skibon, Fisher Black and Sigrid Haugset. And Kat Ferguson was also in that break, by the way. So yeah, and another nice fact, I'm just gonna keep the she rides going on. All of the riders who started were within the top 18. So we had Perikitko on 17 and Margot on 18. So 3 nice, exciting races. I would say it was very good racing in Mallorca.
It's road racing.
And then
It's already a win. After all these.
And European as well. So I'm not like watching in the middle of the night. So just like watching during the day is also very nice. I'm thinking I didn't put it in, but we did have cyclocross, Maasmechelen and Hogerheide. Who won? 2 times Pieterse?
No, not 2 times. Yeah, did she?
Yeah, 2 times.
Oh, okay.
In Hogerheide, Brandt didn't start anymore because of a calf injury, calf pain. I'm not sure how to properly
Fingers
call
crossed
it.
for the upcoming weekend for Lucinda.
Yeah, we will just we can talk about that right now, the upcoming weekend. Cyclocross Worlds. Of course, I'm gonna start. I'm again the only one in the relay fan club here today, so I'll just start by it. So you don't need to listen to it too long. But I would say it's not too bad of a selection here. Like we've seen worse, that's for sure. For Great Britain, we have Cameron Mason and Zoe Backstedt as the elite, and then we have Zoe Roach, who was, I think, last year. She was a part of it as well. But definitely a team to keep an eye on. In Italy, we have Sara Casasola there, which is also cool. She's participating and she's back on the, she's getting good results again. So in general, one to watch again. The Frenchies have Célia Jury and Hélène Clausel, so that's also definitely not too bad. From Belgium, we have Fleur Moor, Julie Brouwers, and on the men's side, Niels van de Putten and Kai de Brekker. So I think it's in general, the selections are really not too bad. We've seen them worse. Nice.
And then the race.
What is the point of the relays? I really don't get it.
If you would do it in every World Cup weekend as well, you would think okay, it is a thing. But just for the world champs, I mean, why?
Yeah, it is a bit useless because in the end you go for a title, and you can't really show the jersey anymore. But I like to watch it. It's cool. Shall I just finish this racing out?
Keep doing it.
Yeah. Keep going.
So for the Netherlands, they are also sending a strong selection with Leonie Bentveld, Shirin van Androoy, Del Grosso. But hey, Leonie Bentveld is racing, so you should be somewhat excited.
I will shout for Leonie and for the Netherlands, but yeah, that's how far it goes.
Failed.
Interesting this weekend than the mixed relay, Saar.
Okay, yeah, you can start now. You can do the juniors.
Yeah, the juniors.
You've been saying it will be interesting,
and it's on television. It's on television. The juniors.
Yeah,
that's cool. We had the battle between the Czech European champion Barbara Bukowska and of course the French reigning world champion Lise Revol. But the last couple of weeks we have the Italian as well, Giorgia Pellizzotti, who's really coming up. So I think these 3 can battle it out in a very, very, very nice race, I think. So if you have the time, watch the Junior World Championships. It's really fun. And usually Lise Revol always starts like a bullet, but she tends to fade out. So it can be very interesting, these race tactics. For the rest, you have Peggy Knox, a very exciting first-year junior for Great Britain. Always keep an eye out for her. So yeah, I'll make it very short. Just watch it. Gonna be a nice race.
You want to do the U23 as well, or?
No.
And for Belgium, we have Ribeirol, Brouwers. I think Foucault will also be one to keep an eye on. Hélène Clausel is starting as well. We have Zoe Backstedt's first Elite Worlds. Marie Schreiber is there as well, Vos as well. So they are all competing in the elite category this year. Zimanova. So yeah. I think I would say till 2 weeks ago, I think everyone would be fairly sure to go with Lucinda Brandt. It would be, and I think right now we're a bit less sure about like the dominance. I think we saw a very strong Alvarado, Pieterse, Fukuna as well. So it could be very interesting. Are we gonna do we're gonna do some predictions? Do you wanna start, Kristof?
I want to start. I still go with Lucinda Brandt on 1 because I just wanted to. She has been the best all season long. So she deserves the rainbow jersey. So I'm just gonna go with that. I just want to see it. On 5 I go for Semanova, and on 10 Blanca Vas.
All right. Do you want to go in now?
Yes. So I also going for Lucinda. I think she can do it. She has the experience. I know her quite well, and I really hope that she can win it. So on 1, Lucinda. On 5, I'll put Zoe Bakstedt. And then on 10, I go for the Belgians, Ribeiro, Marion Norbert Ribeiro.
Since you both took Lucinda, I won't. But I wish she does, because after like this well of a season, missing out on Euros, on the nationals, I'm like, okay, you can have Worlds now, but I'll just go for something else, and I'll do like more for the outsider. I'll go for Fukune on 1. It's not that weird. She's super strong, come on. On 5, Casasola, and on 10, Schreiber. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, hot takes there. But then she wears a jersey again. It'll be ugly.
No, the only reason why I would already say like, please not, like Paul Sazum would be able to ruin my jersey.
So happy that she didn't prolong her French champions jersey, because that was like, oof.
It's still ugly.
That.
But like the jerseys, it's so sad. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not gonna say anything more about it. But for that reason, I would be like, maybe rather not. But anyways, we do have some. We had road cycling, we had cyclocross. Now we have track cycling. We had track nationals, and I saved my bias for you, Kristof, because today you're here. And otherwise you had to miss it, because Lotte Kopecky's season started, of course.
True.
Yeah. What can I tell? She did the individual pursuit and took a Belgian record in it. And don't start me on the competition, because you've tried that in the preparations already. It was a very good time. Then she also became Belgian champion with Saar Bossuet, so the comeback of Bossuet Kopecky. Also very nice. And then, so that was nice. We of course have Euros, but first we also had another She Rides guest taking the titles with Helene Hesters. I think it was, what was it? Elimination points race. So yeah, the plan was, if I wasn't too ill, I would go there, but I didn't. So I was trying to follow things from the Belgian cycling Instagram, which is always entertaining. So we've had that last weekend, which was nice. Not that we could watch a lot, but we can watch track cycling as well this weekend with the Euros. So next of Lotte Kopecky competing, yay. We also have She Rides as well. And Jo Wolf is also starting. So after skipping cyclocross this winter, she is doing some track. Yeah, I don't know, does anyone want to add something about the track? Because I've discussed it a bit already with Francesca Selva last week. Her main takeaways were super nice that Julie van der Molen gets to ride 4 disciplines, which we of course agree on. And she thinks the Madison is gonna be the coolest race to watch. Anything else you want to add to that?
Just curious to see Kopecky and Bossuet back in action. It's gonna be nice. Good that they're back.
Yeah, and both of them are really motivated to go all in for the Madison. So I'm really looking forward to see them race together again on the highest level. Lotte is going really well. It's really promising. Having a time of 4:29 in the pursuit is really, it's really good. So it's a good sign.
Yeah, so super excited for that this weekend. So gonna be like a cool weekend with like lots of screens, because if everything goes well, we also have Cattle Evans on Saturday, but that's like during the night or early morning, or if you just want to watch it postponed, also an option. Depends on motivation.
Yeah, you never know. That's true. Okay, that's a wrap for...
No, we just need to, because of course our guest here is leaving for the UAE Tour. Can you tell us a bit about the ambitions of the team there?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm hoping for a lot of wind, for a lot of echelons, but I think mainly the first stage again will be an echelon stage. So already the GC will be decided from stage 1. And then stage 2 and 3 is more in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and that's more the sprint stages. And then the last stage is now Jebel Hafid, which last year Jebel was the second last stage, but now it is the very last stage. So yeah, also really interesting that last day, because there could still be echelons before the big climb. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, we have a good team as well. We have Kim Lecour, who did really well last year, with third in GC. But we also have now Justine as a helper and a backup for Kim. So that will be really nice. And hopefully we can play them out both on Jebel Hafid on the last day. And then we also have good riders for the lead out and the sprint. We have Gladys Verhulst, who's doing the sprints, and we have 3 good lead out riders. So I want to test some lead out strategies and some sprint plans, and yeah, we're gonna enjoy ourselves, that's for sure.
Nice.
Interesting.
Cool selection. The UAE Tour just got way more exciting.
Yeah. It's a good bridge to the AG Insurance Soudal team. This one. What's the recipe for all that success, Jolien, and all that good team atmosphere? What's the secret?
Oh, the secret. There's not that much of a secret. I mean, you just need to have, of course, good riders, but there need to be like a click between the riders. And that's something, if we do like talks with potential new riders, we always look at, okay, would she be a good fit in the team? And that is super important for us. Because in the past, we had some talks with really good riders, like the top level riders, but they were just talking about, okay, I want to be the sole leader in the team, and, you know, they need to work for me. And that's not our team. It's just not a good fit in our team. And then we also said, like, sorry, no, we have to say no, even though you're a top rider, but it's just not the 100% fit. And so just to mention that it's really important for us, and we really look at the personality of the riders and how they are, and, you know, how they match with the other riders, and that is just crucial for us. And I think we have now a good team with that nice team atmosphere, but it's just a matter of keeping that. And, you know, if we add riders, and, you know, it's always like a come and go. It's a bit a challenge and the goal to retain that, you know, good team atmosphere. And yeah, it's something that is very unique, and I haven't seen it that much in other teams. They call it the wolf pack, and it sounds something really commercial. It may be something commercial as well, I don't know, but it really is like the wolf pack, you know. It's really cool to see. And if you watch Tour de France last year, and if you see Justine pulling for Sarah, waiting for her in the descents, it's all the time going like this every race. And it's not only with Justine and Sarah, but it's with all the riders, and it's coming from themselves as well. It's not something we are pushing, because maybe you're thinking, okay, Jolien is shouting in the radio the whole time. No, it's really coming from themselves, and that's just nice to see.
Great. What are the big goals for the team this season?
We have a lot of goals. But also, one of the big goals are the classics, the cobbles classics, but also the Ardennes again. We really have a goal or a big aim to win a classic again. Last year was great with winning Liège, and we want to do it another time. Would be nice if it's another classic. It can be Liège again. That's also nice. But our aim is to win a classic. And then also after the classics is going to the Grand Tours, to the Vuelta, the Giro, the Tour de France. All 3 of them, we have a plan, and we have leaders for that race, or for those races. So hopefully it works out again. It's always harder, to redo a year like last year, and to prove that you're there again. Yeah. It's easy to get to the top, but it's hard to stay there. It's something we have to prove this year. But the team is ready for it, so we'll see.
And will Justine Kyres step into a little bit more of a leadership role in certain races? Will she have the opportunities?
We always see her as like a backup of the leaders. She's always there in every final. She also can handle a bit of pressure, so she can also finish off a race. So we always count on her. But of course, if we can win a race with Kim in a sprint or whatever, or like uphill with Sarah, it's pretty obvious that Justine then needs to work. Yeah. But if she gets in a position to win the race herself, we always support 100% Justine as well. And that's for every rider. We try to give chances for all the riders. Last year, we won the races with 5 different riders. So, yeah, for sure, Justine, I really hope that she can win a big race, and we fully support her, yeah.
Yeah, nice. And just to wrap the age insurance part off, Jolien, just give us one name that will surprise us. Can be Devo team, can be the first team. Who will surprise us from age insurance?
That will be, I want to sing 5 names or something. Oh, I have to pick one name. I can't, or I can.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
you can, I'm saying, but it's up to Kristof.
Rider, I go for the new rider. I go for Letizia Borghese. She was surprised in the classics. She is actually like a Belgian, dressed as an Italian, but she's really at heart. She is a Belgian. She loves the cobbles. She loves the shit weather. She is such like a Flandrienne. I really expect her to do well in the cobble classics. But also, I expect a lot of great things from Shari. She took a lot of steps already last year towards the end of the season, like races like in Stuttgart. She was really good. But also in Wallonie, where she had a victory. And I expect from her another big step this season. So yeah, we'll see. And being a Belgian, it's always nice.
Mm-hmm. She looked very hungry when she came back in competition. So
she's always hungry.
Promising. Yeah, many things to look forward to.
And in our Devo team, if I can continue, we have like Emma Siegers, Tess Moerman, we have Luca Vierstraten. We also have Amandine Muller, who's doing really well in cyclocross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of good names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see what step Luca Vierstraten will take in 2026. She take a good step in 2025. Curious what she will do in 2026.
She is the big engine in the team pursuit for the Belgian team on the track. So if she can continue to make steps on the road as well, it's really promising.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we're in the classics countdown, we of course can't miss some questions about the classics. So what's your favorite classic?
My favorite classic is Tour of Flanders. Easy.
Nice. Now you can I'm gonna start with a sentence and then you can fill in. This classic will be won by an AG rider in 2026.
Strade Bianche.
This classic will be the most exciting one to watch.
Again, please?
This classic will be the most exciting one to watch. Of course.
Yeah.
My hot take for the club.
Letizia Borghese. I'm really boring. I know. If I have to mention another name from another team,
sure.
Skiba.
Yeah.
Nice pick.
Nice. The most special thing about the Flemish Classics is?
The atmosphere. Like from when you wake up to when you go to bed, it's like the whole day, everything. I can't explain it. It's the feeling around it, the people. Yeah, the whole day is so special. They should make it a holiday in Belgium.
Yeah.
We can agree. And then just if you could have dinner with 3 people from cycling history, who would it be on your table?
I would pick Marianne Vos. I think we can have a long dinner then because she experienced so much in cycling. Also Emma Johansson, one of the top level riders. She also was my teammate in the past, so a lot to catch up on. And then I would pick, I think, Anna van der Breggen.
Talent table.
But then we have then we have 2 Dutchies on the table.
Yeah.
A specific reason why? No. Yeah, she was my teammate as well, and we were rooming a lot together. So we have a lot of memories. In the race, but also outside the race, and yeah, I think we can write a book. So a lot of good stories to tell.
That's nice. And to really wrap it up, Jolien, what can we wish you for 2026?
If we can have the same season as in 2025, I think that's already a win for us. If we can show that we're there again as a team and have good team performances, then I'm happy.
Yeah. We 100% wish the same thing for the whole team, Jolien.
Thank you. And thank you for supporting the team.
Yeah, we love it. No, that was it.
That was it, yeah.
That's good to finish it off, yeah.
The only thing that's left then, Jolien, is thank you very much for appearing on the show. It was very interesting to have you. It's always interesting to have AG Insurance Soudal guests. We had a couple of them already in the past. So like we said, we wish you all the best, a repeat of the 2026 season, and all the best of luck in private life and in cycling life. And the rest will just
Thank you.
I think. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
That's a wrap for episode 59 of She Rides. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rides.
Absolutely. Women's cycling is packed with action, and we're here to bring you every twist and turn.
Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners.
Follow us on Blue Sky and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates and more.
Thanks to Jolien for joining us today, and don't hesitate to share your questions or topics you'd like us to cover.
And stay tuned for more exciting guests. Tag She Rides podcast on Blue Sky to show off your knowledge, and She Rides is powered by Kariam Endurance Coaching.
Thanks for listening to She Rides, where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching the fun. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.